Alright, welcome to another hot and humid day here in Pennsylvania. And as you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be following the Tulpehocken path, a Native American Indian trail here in Pennsylvania. Of course, just recently I shared that book that someone had sent me, Indian Paths of Pennsylvania. And I think I had mentioned in that video that I was thinking about doing videos like this where I follow the old Indian paths here in Pennsylvania. So that's what we're going to do today. I grew up right near the Tulpehocken path, so I'm kind of familiar with it. And ever since I got that book, it's been eating away at my mind to do a video like this. So we are currently here in Womelsdorf, Pennsylvania at the Conrad Weiser homestead. And this is where the trail starts, roughly. I'm not going to be walking the trail, obviously. It's quite a distance. It starts here in Womelsdorf and goes in Berks County, goes up through Schuylkill, Northumberland counties, and ends at Sunbury, which used to be called Shamokin, along the Susquehanna River. So I'm not going to be walking the path. We will be driving the path. There are a lot of modern roads that follow roughly where the path used to be. There are some places where, you know, they're not really sure where the path went exactly anymore, but we can roughly follow that distance by car. And that book that I got, that a person sent me, helps with that quite a bit. Now, I will be stopping at some places along the way to show you some other things along the path, some key features along the path. But once you get up into Schuylkill and Northumberland counties, there's not as much known about the path. Although there was a book I encountered called Tulpehocken Trail Traces. I don't have it yet, but I saw it online, and that book focuses on some more of those features that are not well known, like up further in Schuylkill and Northumberland counties. So I might get that book sometime. But anyway, let's quit yapping a whole lot. Get some traffic down there along 422. I'll tell you just a little bit about Conrad Weiser, and then we're gonna hop in the Jeep, start traveling. So this is the Conrad Weiser homestead. It is a beautiful little spot. I should make a video dedicated just to this place. There's a lot to see here historically. Different monuments and stuff. Of course, Conrad Weiser was an important figure in Pennsylvania history, especially in this area. He was born in 1695, came to this country in 1710. We weren't a country at the time. He was involved in the French and Indian War quite heavily, and died in 1760. And there are a number of things named after him in this area. The school district here is called Conrad Weiser School District. There's a state forest named after him, Weiser State Forest. I've been there, some of my videos. But he was an important figure. He was an Indian interpreter. He knew their language. He actually lived with the Mohawk Indians for quite some time, learned their language, so he could interpret. He was a big part of the negotiations and different relations with the Native Americans because he could understand their language. But anyway, like I said, we could spend a whole video here, but that's not what the purpose of this video is. So we're gonna get going. I'll show you a little bit as I walk back to the Jeep again. We'll hop on the road and start following this path. So once again, there's that beautiful home. This is not the first place he lived, I don't think. So, beautiful little spot though. I think up there's where his grave might be, or a little monument dedicated to him. All kinds of little stone buildings. But they're mowing up there as well, so I'm gonna just avoid going up there. They're a cool little stone building. But let's hop in the Jeep and get going. And I know some of you might get mad at me and say, hey, why don't you show us more of this homestead? I will in a separate video. It deserves its own video, so I'll do that some other time. And as we're driving along, I'll try to share with you as much as I can the routes that I'm taking. Alright, let's get the air condition. Alright, so we are still at the Conrad Weiser homestead, just kind of driving through the road here. And of course this trail starts here because Conrad Weiser, like I said, was important with the Indian relations here in Pennsylvania. So this trail starts here. And it's called the Tulpehocken Path because this area is known as the Tulpehocken. There's a creek named the Tulpehocken. There's a Tulpehocken school district. It's a Native American term, which I think, if I remember correctly, means the land of the turtle. Of course, some sources say that means actual turtles. Some say it's referring to the turtle dove, but it means land of the turtle. And since the path originates in the Tulpehocken region, that's what it's named after, the Tulpehocken Path. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and drive through the town of Womelsdorf, and we're going to get on Route 419. Like I said, we're going to roughly follow the Tulpehocken Path on these modern roads. Alright, we are now headed up north out of Womelsdorf along Route 419. Of course, you got a picture back then, there would not have been houses and cornfields and farmland. This would have all been, you know, woodland. Minus the pavement too, obviously, but would have looked a lot different back then. Because we're heading up to the towns of Rarisburg and Bethel. Of course, Bethel's kind of significant for me. It's my hometown. I didn't grow up in Bethel. I grew up on the outskirts of Bethel, but it's my home. It's my home area. You gotta think too, these paths, you know, they call them Indian paths, but they were also used by the colonists and traders and hunters and, you know, colonial militia. All kinds of people would have used these trails. And even today we're using them. Like right now we're using it. And up here at the gas station, a ways up from Womelsdorf, 419 veers off to the northeast. We're going to continue on straight. That's the 4 Points gas station. We're going to continue on straight into the town of Rarisburg. I don't know if you can make it off in the distance. Up there is the Blue Mountain. It's kind of a hazy, foggy day, so it's kind of hard to see. But I think you can make it out up there. Well, we headed over that as well. Got some things to show you up there. And here is the little town of Rarisburg. Not much goes on here. So that's not necessarily a bad thing either, though. Alright, we are now headed to the town of Bethel. Of course, this road will hook up with 501, just south of Bethel, but I'm going to take this little road here. This is called Salem Road. Kind of like a little shortcut into town. They just tarred and chipped the road too. That's what you're hearing. Sometimes they put like oil in the road and fresh stone. But I love this bridge here. Got an old one-lane bridge. When I was little, I hated this bridge because when you go up and over, it makes your stomach feel a little funny. But now I kind of like it. Oh, and up here is a one-room schoolhouse. They still have these in Pennsylvania. Right there, that the Amish and the Mennonite use. Of course, right here is one of the Amish farms. And just up the way, here's an old church. Salem Church, what the road is named after, and I have some ancestors buried in that church. I think I did make a video of that once, some time ago. I stopped at some of the different cemeteries around here and filmed where my ancestors were buried. Yeah, right up here is the church. Salem Church. And right there is the cemetery. And up here is Bethel. And here is the little town of Bethel. Not much to see here either, although there has been changes over the years. Just a quiet little town. Of course, just up the way here It's where my barber used to live, where I used to always get my hair cut. There's kind of a house right back up there. Kind of a grayish colored house back there. He died last year. He's the guy who cut my hair since I was in kindergarten, I guess. So it's kind of sad. Except for the years I was in college and stuff, but other than that, he always would cut my hair. Now he's gone. Alright, that has nothing to do with the Tulpehocken path, but just kind of sharing some memories with you here as we drive around. Of course, we are now on Route 501 heading north out of Bethel. And this is my home territory up here. This is where I grew up. I traveled this road so often back in the day. Up here is where, that farm I always talk about where I grew up on is up this way. Well, not right off of 501, but on some of the back roads. And up there is the mountain we're talking about. When I was little, I always called it my mountain. But in a moment here, we're going to veer off of Route 501 onto Fort Henry Road. Fort Henry Road is the original route of the Tulpehocken path, but it's a dead-end road these days, and 501 was, as you can see up here, if you head straight, this is where we're going to go, is Fort Henry Road, but they rerouted the road over the mountain some time ago. So we're going to go straight for now. We'll have to turn around eventually and go back up 501. But this is the original path that took you up to Sunbury, or what used to be Shamokin, and sometimes this is referred to as the old Shamokin Road as well. And up here is where Fort Henry was, which was built during the French and Indian War, 1756. There's nothing there to see anymore. They do have a stone marker, so we're going to go head up that way, check it out. Actually, up here is the road. If you turn left, that would take you to the old farm where I lived. We're going to head straight. And check it out, there's a little fawn up here running off up there. Two of them, two fawns running off into the woods. That's pretty cool. So over here is the stone marker for the fort. It is on private property. I might just ask the owner if I could come over here. They clearly have signs here for being posted. Here we go, 1756, Fort Henry, about 25 yards north of this stone. French and Indian War, Historical Society of Berks County. That's pretty cool. Yes, they don't know exactly where the fort was located. It says about 25 yards north, but there's really no evidence of it being there anymore. I did some research on that years ago. Anyway, like I said, I've already turned around on Fort Henry Road. It dead ends up there. It actually does continue, but it gets to a point where it's gated off and you can't go any further because on the private land. So this was, like I said, Fort Henry Road was the original route of the Tulpehocken path. All right, we're gonna head back in the Jeep, get back onto 501 and head up over the mountain. There's a few things at the top I want to share with you. Actually, up there is that spring. I videoed that spring, Pilgrim's Rest, earlier this year. We'll stop there again. We're still on Fort Henry Road here, but I should mention, that Conrad Weiser, who we talked about at the beginning of the video, was important during the French and Indian War for obvious reasons, being an Indian interpreter, and he was made I forget what rank he held in the colonial militia, but he was involved heavily with that. He was often up here at Fort Henry and some of the other forts along the Blue Mountain here. There was a whole chain of forts. I actually plan on doing a series of videos on the French and Indian War here in Pennsylvania. Maybe we'll work on that this fall. So I have all kinds of stuff I want to do. Just a matter of getting it done. All right, but like I said, we're gonna head on back down to 501 and take a sharp left and head up to the mountain. All right, we're on 501, headed up the mountain. And that right there, that's Round Top up there. That was always called that my mountain. If you've seen several videos where I've hiked up there, I did some drone flying up there as well. We are at the top of the mountain now. I did just pull off of 501. And actually at this point 501 is back to the original Tulpehocken trail. And that spring is up here, Pilgrim's Rest. And if you're watching my videos this past spring, like I said, I did come up here and make a video on it. Looked a little bit different back then. I think it's up here somewhere. Oh yeah, there's a little trail here. So this is kind of like a rest area along the trail that people used. And there was a little spring over here. It's pretty cool. And it is flowing. Of course, there's a little modern day pipe coming out of it. And they do have a little plaque for it, monument up here. 1742, Pilgeroo. It was named by Nicholas Ludwig von Zinzendorf, who with Conrad Weiser, our buddy, and Moravian missionaries rested here beside this spring on their way to visit Shawnee Indians in the Wyoming Valley. So yeah, you can see there's our friend there, Conrad Weiser, headed to work with the Indians. Like I said, he would come with groups like this, in this case missionaries, because he, like I said, he spoke the Indian language. So he could actually be, so he could be an interpreter for people traveling to the Indian nations further up north. So that's pretty cool. Not a bad place to rest. Of course, these days it's kind of noisy with the traffic, but the Appalachian Trail is right up here, and people use this as a water source for the Appalachian Trail. And we're actually going to park up here at the Appalachian Trail and walk just briefly to an overlook, overlooking the valley. So I think we'll go ahead and do that next. All right, so we are at the parking lot for the Appalachian Trail right here on 501. Of course, we're gonna head this way to the overlook. We'll see if we get it to ourselves. There's quite a few vehicles here, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're all at the overlook. And from this overlook, we'll be able to look down into the valley and see where we were on the Tulpehocken path and where it comes up. And it's neat to think too that the people that hiked the trail back in those days would also have probably stood at this view, looked down in the valley. And down here is the overlook. Looks like there's a bunch of fresh spray paint as well, unfortunately. Some green stuff. Yeah, oh well. Yeah, but here's the view. Kind of a hazy, foggy day though. But out there's the valley. Out that way is Route 501 where it came up. And actually just down this way, it's hard to see with the haze, but that Fort Henry Road comes up this way too, a little bit. Of course, I used to live down there. The farm I lived on was down there. I think I shared that in another video. Zoomed in on it. Alright, well I just wanted to share this view with you again. I'm not sure if the Tulpehocken path came down this way. It probably was more, we're just a little bit down from the crest of the mountain, but you know, no doubt they knew about this back then. The Indians and the colonists. Great place to sit. Just up that way is that spring as well that we were just at. Kind of interesting to think, you know, who all sat here back in the day, looked over this view. It's a popular place today, so there's tons of people that come here. You can tell by the graffiti, but kind of wonder, you know, back in the 1700s and all, you know, who all sat here and looked at this view. All right, but we're gonna head back up to the Jeep and keep on going. We got the town of Pine Grove is next. And like I said, I'll keep letting you know what roads I'm on as we travel. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video as well, I don't know as many places to stop at once we get into this more northern part of the trail. We're almost in Schuylkill County. We're still in Berks County, but who knows? Maybe I know of one place I want to stop at, but as we're going, I just might. Who knows? I might just randomly stop at some stuff too I see along the way. So we're gonna continue on our journey. Well, we just entered Schuylkill County. Now we're heading down the other side of the mountain, and we'll be in the town of Pine Grove in a bit. And just up here is the end of Route 501, and we're going to turn left, get on West 895. You see a sign there for Pine Grove. Just up here, I think there's something I want to check out. There's a tank over here. I've driven by this tank so many times, never actually stopped to look at it, so. Yeah, so this tank has nothing to do with the Tulpehocken path, but I kind of want to check it out. I've driven up this way so many times, I've never actually stopped to take a look at it. Yeah, they used to have some information here for it. The M6 National Guard Military Museum. So here's the tank. Pretty cool little piece of machinery there. And they have a few other military things here. There's an anchor. I think there's some stuff up there as well. All right, I know this is called Canal Park, but it is right off the Tulpehocken path, so it's something you can check out. All right, let's get back in the Jeep. All right, once we get up into actual town, we're going to join up with Route 443, and we're going to turn right up here. Make sure no one's coming. And up a little ways here, we're going to turn left onto Route 125 here at the northern end of Pine Grove to keep following the Tulpehocken path. I should mention too that Canal Park, it's called Canal Park because that is where the Union Canal, or I should say that the Pine Grove extension of the Union Canal, that's where it started. And then went down to join the main Union Canal down in Lebanon. So that's why it's called Canal Park. Just a little piece of history. Yeah, and then up at the light here, we are going to turn left or go mostly straight up to 125. Route 443 continues that way. And now we're traveling through the little town of Ravine. Just a little place here. And up just a little bit past Ravine, we're going to turn left onto Mollystown Road. Yeah, up here we turn left. It's the way you're going if you're going to get on Interstate 81, if you're local to the area. Alright, but we're not going to get on the interstate. We're going to continue on Mollystown Road, though. There's a place up here I'd like to stop at. Show you something as well. Alright, so we're driving through the last part of Mollystown here, and there's a road up here that I want to take. I don't remember where it is. I think this is it, right up here. Just a little diversion. It's a little stream right here. Yep, I think this is it. Yeah, so I wanted to show this to you. This is the Loreberry Creek. And if we look down into it, it's got kind of a funky color to it. Got like an orange cast to it. Some of you will know what that's from. That's the abandoned mine drainage water. A lot of coal mining up in this area. It's kind of interesting to think, you know, we're right next to the Tulpehocken path, which is right over there. It's no doubt, in the 1700s, this would have been a nice, clear stream to drink from for the Indians and the other travelers along that path. And now, in the these days, modern times, it's a dead lifeless, polluted stream. Kind of a shame. But it's just showing you it's a sign of the change of times. All right. Give you one more last look at it, and then we'll keep on heading up the Mollystown Road. Not gonna drink from that these days. So we're gonna continue on the Mollystown Road for some time here. I think the next town coming up is the little coal mining town of Loreberry. And we'll hit the town of Joliet and make it to a town called Goodspring. We're going to cross Route 209 here. We're now in the town of Joliet. I guess that's how you say it. Still in coal mining territory. Coal mine country. Lots of small coal mining towns up this way. Down here is the town of Goodspring. Because you have to kind of wonder if there was a spring here at one point that they used for the Tulpehocken path. Maybe that's why it was called Goodspring. Not sure if it's good these days. Like I said, we're still in a coal country. A lot of the water around here just has that orange color to it because it's polluted. But anyway, we're going to head straight through Goodspring here. This is where we hook back up with Route 125. The same Route 125 that brought you out of Pine Grove. And we're gonna make our way up to Higgins. I think we gotta go over another mountain range here though. So coming down the mountain on 125 here, did find this little pullover. A little bit of an overlook here. It's a little bit hazy up here. I believe that's the town of Higgins up there. Thought I'd stop and show you. Yeah, so once we get to Higgins, we're going to turn left in Higgins on Route 25 and head through the town of Valley View and then to the town of Sacramento. Not Sacramento, California though. Yeah, I have my sunglasses on for driving. But anyway, I usually take them off when I film, but... Alright, let's head to Higgins. So as we're headed down the other side of the mountain, I kind of wonder what people like back in the 1700s and earlier, what they thought of views and overlooks. You know, if they got excited about them like we do and enjoyed seeing them. I know places like that were often important to the Native Americans, especially if they were like cool rock formations there and stuff. But all right, it's getting kind of twisty. I'm gonna turn you off. And just like that, we're in the town of Higgins. Like I said, we're gonna turn left onto Route 25. I know I have a viewer that was from Higgins. I don't know if he's watching this video. He doesn't live here anymore, but I think he's one of my first subscribers back in the day. He moved back down to Berks County, I think now. We are now in the town of Sacramento. Sacramento, Pennsylvania, though. Of course, Sacramento is the capital of California. It would be cool to be out there. I'm not looking for Erdman Road. Take a right on that road. Should be just up here somewhere. Maybe this is right here. Nope, that's Creek Road. All right, up here somewhere. So I made a little mistake back there. We're not looking for Erdman Road, we're looking for Fear Not Road. Kind of a odd name for a road, Fear Not. I think there's a town up here somewhere called that as well. So yes, right up here is, we're gonna take a right onto Fear Not Road. That takes us to the town of Erdman, so I think I got confused there. To relook at my notes. Yeah, I think right up here at the church we're gonna turn right. Still in the town of Sacramento here. Yeah, right here it is, Fear Not Road. And I can't say that I've ever been on this road before, so we're entering territory that I've never driven in. Well, as far as roads go. All right. Of course, once again, you have to picture this old pathway surrounded by forests and woodlands rather than cornfields and houses. Just try to picture it differently as you're driving along. Although this is beautiful scenery as well, though. So I believe we are passing through a gap in the mountain here. I think this is called Klinger's Gap. We just went through the village of Erdman. I think Klinger's town is up here somewhere. Alright, so we are now in Klinger's town. It's Main Street through town. I'm looking for a road that on Google Maps didn't have a name. It's just called State Route 3016. So we'll see if we can find that. Alright. Entering Northumberland County. I'll just leave you on for a little bit here. I know it's past another road here. What's this road up here called? Yeah, there's Old State Road, so it's the next road off to the right past that one. Hopefully. Okay, right here's a sign. Oh, it does have a name here. Hooflander. There's a name for you. Hooflander Road. Okay, there you go. Alright, as we're driving up Hooflander Road, just a little ways up, here's a sign right here. Oh yeah, here's a sign. Let me pull over here. There's a sign for the Tulpehocken path here. Cool. I guess it's safe to pull over here. Yes, I just want a quick run up here. Take a look at the historical sign. So we are on the correct road. That's reassuring. There you go, Tulpehocken path. At Mahantango Gap. Seen to the south was Double Eagle, a stopping place on the Indian path that ran from Schmoke and Sunbury at the forks of Susquehanna to Wisers, where we started in the Tulpehocken Valley. Yes, this one mentions Double Eagle. And a little bit of research I was doing, especially yesterday, I came across that campsite, Double Eagle. It's right around here somewhere. Of course, it's all private property, so we can't go to it. I think just off in the woods up there was a place that they rested. Oh, you turn around, you can look at the gap. That's the gap in the mountains we just came through down there, down by Klinger's town. Alright, so we are on the right track. It's good to see a historical marker. like that. All right, let's keep going. This is a great day for a drive. A little bit warm outside, so it's kind of nice to be in the air conditioning. Although I do plan on going hiking a little bit later today. All right. So we're gonna be on this road for quite some time. We've got at least 6 miles or so to travel on this Hooflander road. And we're gonna be driving close to the town of Urban. And then from there, we're gonna be getting on PA Route 225. And at that point, it gets a little hard road-wise to follow the Tulpehocken path. I think at that point it's a little bit sketchy as to where it went, but eventually we're gonna get on Route 147, and that takes us back more to the original route then. Eventually the plan is, like I said, to get up to present-day Sunbury, but what was Shamokin back then, and to the site of Fort Augusta. Another fort during the French and Indian War. So people would use this path during that war to travel between, the forts as well. Yeah, then right up here is the junction with 225. We're gonna take a left here. I said at this point it's kind of a little bit ambiguous as to where the original path went. You certainly can't follow it by road right at this point. So we're gonna take a left here, like I said, on 225. And then eventually we're gonna get on Route 147 and kind of get back on the original route of the path. So at this point in the trip, we've actually gone about 60 miles already. It may not seem like that video length-wise, but obviously I haven't been filming the whole route, the whole trip, but about 60 miles. A little bit more than that. And by the time we get to 147, we will be like right on the banks of the Susquehanna River. So by that time, the Tulpehocken path will follow the banks of the Susquehanna River for the most part. And we should get a view of that once we're up in Sunbury by Fort Augusta. Oh yeah, here's our sign for 147. So we'll veer off to the right here. Do we have a sign for Sunbury? 14 miles to Sunbury. North 147. And we're now passing through the little town of Fisher's Ferry. Back a little ways was another sign for the Tulpehocken path, right here along Route 147. So we are back on the I guess you call the main route of the path. There's some old buildings over there. That's pretty cool. Right, just a couple more miles to Sunbury and Fort Augusta. We have made it to Sunbury, at least the outskirts of it here. So I'm not going to film till I find Fort Augusta. I don't want to film while I drive around town too much. Alright, so we made it to the Northumberland County Historical Society. The train in the background there. And up front here they have a model of what Fort Augusta looked like, if I remember correctly. Google Maps shows Fort Augusta being down the street further, but there wasn't anything down there that I could tell. So I'm not sure if they know exactly where Fort Augusta was located, because that was back, 1750s. That train is really blowing that horn. But anyway, let's walk around up front, take a look at the model of this fort. And there's one other place I do want to stop at before we end this video as well. There's a little lookout along the Susquehanna River. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, up here out in front of the building is where the model of the fort is. Of course, out beyond that little wall is the Susquehanna River. And up there is the Shikellamy overlook. I think Shikellamy State Park is up there as well. Kind of planning on hiking up there a little bit. Here's Fort Augusta. They even have like little tiny cannons the fort there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a historical marker for it. Fort Augusta, built in 1756, 1757. That's pretty cool though. They even have all the little log, I guess you call palisade out front. All right. Looks like we can get up a view from the top as well. I do love the little cannon emplacements. Gives like a realistic look. It does allow you to look down into the fort, or the replica of the fort, a little bit better. Yeah, that's actually pretty neat. Alright, so once again, there's probably more I could say about the fort, but that'll be for another video, I think. Like I said, I'm maybe going to be making some French and Indian War videos this fall. We'll see. Okay, but I do want to stop at one other spot to end this video. Like, there's a spot called Shikellamy overlook. And supposedly, when you look up at the mountain here, you can see the profile of Chief Shikellamy. I forget if I mentioned him already in the video, but he was one of the Indian chiefs that Conrad Weiser met with up here in Sunbury, or what used to be called Schmoken back then. So we'll see if we can see that profile up there and end the video overlooking the Susquehanna River. Just a little of a short drive down the road here. All right, let's get there. So here is the overlook. See Shikellamy's profile right along Front Street here. They got a little place where you can walk up. This is kind of cool. Oh, there's the Susquehanna. Oh, it feels a lot cooler under here. Yeah, here's a little plaque for it. If you stand on this spot, look across the Susquehanna River toward the bridge on the right, you can see the face of Chief Shikellamy's profiled in the cliff above the opposite shore. Some more information there. Well, let's look across the river there. They're referring to that spot right up there, so I'm going to zoom in. I think I can see a nose. See that? There is kind of a face there. That's actually pretty cool. Looks like a nose jutted out right there. All right. Pretty cool. So that will be it for this video. I guess you can still see me in the shade here. Like I said, there is more to see at that site. There's like an old cemetery out behind the Historical Society. It looks pretty cool, but I'm going to save that for another video someday. Like I said, when I do a series on the French and Indian War, I think. There's a whole lot more I could have thrown in this video, but then it gets a little bit long maybe. Alright, I do have some other hiking I want to do today, and some of the hiking involves getting up on the other side of the river there. Alright, thanks for coming along with me on this little kind of journey, road trip. I enjoyed it. It's a beautiful day to be out driving around. And like I said, I know there's probably some stuff that I missed because I don't know everything about the Tulpehocken path up this way, but if I missed some important stuff, you can let me know down below. Alright, I'm going to get away from this noisy spot. Thanks for coming along, and I'll see you around.